Hello and welcome back to Overbooked. I'm Amanda and today we're gonna be doing my December wrap up. So it's been a bit. I kind of took a little break, but here we are, we're back again and we're gonna talk about the books I frantically read to meet my Goodreads goal for 2020. 2020, like December, was a mad rush to get to 75 books to read, and I did it at the last hour almost. But yeah, here we go. I'm excited and we're gonna talk about them. So I read a total of 6 books, which isn't like a crazy amount, but I'm gonna rank them. We're gonna start with the worst and then we're gonna go to the best because there was a range. There was an absolute range in December of books. Whew. So I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but it's okay. Because some books are just not for everyone, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. But the worst book I read in December was The Alice Network by Kay Quinn. Now, what I'll say is, this book has been on my radar forever, right? Like, I've had it on my want to read list on Goodreads forever. I've heard about it forever. I've always wanted to read it. And I picked it up from the library because I thought it would be a quick book to get through this month to meet my goal, because I love historical fiction. I love World War II historical fiction. It's like crack, you know, it's just like, oh, gotta have it. So I thought this was a good choice. I ended up just not liking this book at all, obviously, because I'm ranking it the last. So this book is looks at 2 characters, and one is like in 1947, so it's shortly after World War II, and she is from America and she is coming over to Europe to have an abortion because she's pregnant and she's only 19 and her parents are just not okay with that. But she's taking the opportunity while she's over in Europe to find her lost cousin who she's lost contact with during the war. So she is on a mission to find her. And then our other character is somebody who, and I don't remember their names obviously, but her timeline starts during World War I, and she was a spy for England, so she's English. And their paths cross because the English spy she used to process people through countries or something, I don't really know, but she ended up being the last person that was in contact with the pregnant lady's cousin. So that's where they can that's where the pregnant lady meets up with the English spy, and she's like, I need your help, and they start on this journey. So we go through the spy's life during World War I, her, what happened, and then we go through what's going on right now in 1947 as they try to find this girl. I don't know, it just wasn't interesting enough, it wasn't captivating enough, it was very predictable. I felt and so I don't want to, this isn't my own original thought, but I recently had watched a video with Read with Cindy, and she was talking about World War II books, historical fiction books. And there's so many out there. There's so many out there, and they almost just start to blend in together. It's which book am I reading? I'm not quite sure. And that's how I felt with The Alice Network. I didn't think that it had a lot of unique features. I didn't think it really, I felt like I'd already read the story before. I didn't feel I don't know if it gave any other perspective that I hadn't really read or knew about, or you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't exciting enough and unique enough for me. And it was a very long book. This book was almost 500 pages, and I didn't think it needed to be that long. I think there was a lot of passages that just were not needed at all. I think they could have just been, briefly covered or just skipped entirely. So it just wasn't for me. And I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to, and was looking forward to enjoying it. Sad. The next book that I read was The Summer Wives by Beatrice Williams. And this is another book that I picked up because I thought I'd get through it quickly. It's been on my TBR forever. It's a historical fiction book, and it's the second to worst book I read this past month. The Summer Wives is about this I don't remember where it is. We'll just say Connecticut. It's somewhere over there. This island off of Connecticut or something, and all these rich people go there for their summers, and they have the summer people, and then they have the island residents that are there all around that work there. And the book alluded to that most of the people that work there year round are of Portuguese descent, but never really got into that entirely. so I'm not quite sure. And then it takes place, there's also a wide timeline here, but the main time is like the 50s through the late 60s, and there's a sprinkling of 40s of time perspectives. We see multiple characters, but our main character is this woman who comes to the island originally because her mother marries a man that's a summer going person that goes to this island, and the wedding's at this island home, and she meets her stepsister. I'm already getting bored talking about it, you guys. This book was boring. I don't know what else to say. The book just talks about this girl's summer here, and then that leads up to a murder. And I don't want to give too much away, but her first summer there, it leads up to her falling in love and a murder. And it's just not that, I don't know, not that exciting, which you think it sounds exciting. Murder is pretty exciting, but it's not in this book for some reason. This book was also pretty long and just not terribly exciting. It was also another super predictable book. And there's also something that I didn't think made sense entirely, which I guessed it, but some of the dialogue was too weird. But it definitely is a spoiler, so I won't get into that. But it was just, I don't think a lot of things added up, and I think it would have done some justice to reread the book and make sure the things that I was, exposing actually added up throughout the thing. But I just didn't enjoy it. It was a lot of, there's a lot of privilege people complaining about nothing, just sitting around doing nothing, and wondering why they didn't have better relationships with the people that worked at the island all year round. It was just weird and boring. So, and I wouldn't recommend. So after this, I read some really great, amazing books. So I'm still ranking them, but they're not like, I wouldn't say that they're terrible. So it's not like in any reflection of the book. I just had to rank it somehow. So coming in at number 4 is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. And I absolutely adore this book. I got this book recommendation from watching Read with Cindy. And this is about a plus size woman who is like this cool like fashion blogger and super just worldly traveling, and she is the next contestant on this like reality dating show. And it's like this huge thing because she's like this like the first like plus size woman on the show, and just tackling all that adversity there and dealing with all the men, and then just dealing obviously with the romance and sizzle and stuff that happens in those kind of shows. And it was really interesting, and I enjoyed it. I don't know, I thought this kept me interested. It was actually longer than I thought, but it does move very quickly, and you get like at the end of every chapter, like the beginning of every chapter, you get like cool little tidbits from like, gossip magazines or somebody's like work chat, like that, all they do is talk about this show, and they have like a bracket going and stuff. And it's actually really cool and funny and interesting. And I really liked just seeing like the behind the scenes part of like making this kind of show, and just how the main character, has to really like, she loves herself, she loves her body, but like doubling down on that when you're meeting so much criticism on a national scale in like the public light is a whole other thing. So just seeing how she handles that with such like, determination and grace, and, obviously some mishaps along the way, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought that it was great. So I recommend. All right, so the next one was Luster by Raven Salani. And I've seen this one around. I read it as an audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. So Luster is about this young, like I think she's early 20s, Black woman who is in this affair with a white man who's married. And it just kind of details like that roller coaster of a ride, and also just like her life in general. It's a very like millennial, like this is my story kind of book, and it was very interesting and very fascinating, also very cringy. So I was just kind of like, oh my god, like what are you doing? Stop. But it was very good. I enjoyed it, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I almost feel like I don't want to give too much away because it's just like when you're reading it, you're like, what? I can't believe she did that. So it might not be a spoiler, but I don't want you to like, I want people to be surprised when they read it because I was very shocked. Like I would visibly out loud or audibly out loud be like, what the heck when I was listening to this book. Like I'd be on my walk yelling, just like, what are you doing? It's nuts, but I enjoyed it, so I think you guys should check it out. Number 2, which is one of the first books I read in December, or finished, I guess. I think I started in November, is There by Tommy Orange. Lovely book, amazing book, powerful book, French kiss book. This is so good. So There follows, I think it's 12 characters, 12 indigenous characters in Oakland, California, and it just follows them leading up to this big like Oakland County powwow. And so we see like snapshots into every one of their lives and like what's going on, what they're dealing with, what their background is, and like what is causing them or leading them to go to this powwow. And then at the end, we're at this powwow and this big event happens and all the characters intersect, and it's just so good. I keep bringing up Reba Cindy, so I'll link her below, but she also read this book recently, and she said that there was like a handful of too many characters, and it was hard to keep track. And halfway through the book, I disagreed with her. I thought there was I enjoyed learning about all these people and all these different perspectives and all these different backgrounds that were going on in this community and in this city, and I just really enjoyed it. But at the end of the book, I really just wanted to know about like 4 key characters, and everybody else I was just like, I don't really care anymore. So I agree with her at the end. I really wish that those characters would have had more time to flush out what was going on with them and what was their story more. And but overall though, it was so good. So if you haven't read There, stop pushing it off like I did and read it. Okay, and lastly, the best book I read in December, hands down, was Transcendent Kingdom by Yaa Gyasi. Oh my god, I checked this out on a whim. You guys, I saw this around Bookstagram, I saw it around BookTube, mainly Bookstagram. I saw a lot of like mixed reviews. A lot of people that I trust for their opinion on books, I saw that didn't really super enjoy it. And I'm not saying that they're wrong. No one's wrong when they say they don't like a book. I'm just saying that. Like, it's all like personal preference, right? And like personal experiences and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that they gave me wrong information or something, but it just like made me hesitant to pick it up. But I picked it up because I was like, you know what? I want to give it a try. And it's actually at my library, so I'll give it a go. It was the best. I read it in one day. It's like under like 250 pages or something, and it's just so powerful. The Transcendent Kingdom follows this woman, this Black woman who is a scientist. She is doing research on chemicals in the brain that make you addicted or cause you to become addicted to something, or along the lines of addiction. And she has the background of Ghana immigrants, and she has a mother and a brother and a father. I feel like I'm like listing this, but like when I read the book, I was like, okay, all these pieces. And in this book, we explore her background and her life and just all the messy things that happen. I just really love this book. There's a lot of themes going on, but Yaa Gyasi like waves them together so beautifully and so well. It's just so good. So our main character is like dealing with growing up with a depressive mother, a brother who quickly fell into addiction after getting put on painkillers for his, like, I think he broke his ankle. And her father left her family in the United States to go back to Ghana in like when she was like in middle school or something. And so we have all of those elements going on. She's also grappling with her relationship with religion. She's grappling with her, like, with being a Black woman in a very male, white-dominated industry. She's dealing with, like, the loss of her brother because her brother eventually overdoses. She's dealing with just the mental illness and health of her mother and just trying to, like, figure out her life and herself at the same time. And it's just so well done. I get really into my thoughts and feelings on this book in one of my reading vlogs, so I'll link that below if you guys want to check that out. But this book was just so good, and I related to a lot of things that I didn't think I was going to relate to, and I found it so powerful and so good. I don't know how many times I can say is so good, but it was just mind-blowing and so amazing. So I definitely recommend Transcendent Kingdom by Yaa Gyasi. Okay, so those were the books that I read in December, and I am hoping to do my yearly like reading stats and Goodreads review and yada 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 soon, so be on the lookout for that. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button if you like this video, and in the comments below let me know what your favorite or your worst books that you read in December 2020, or what you're reading right now. I'd love to hear it, and I will see you guys next time.